Okay, gang, so another studio update. Today is a day where I'm going to do the last time, hopefully, that I'll have to pull this console out and get behind it until it, when and if it eventually moves to another studio, but more on that later. So what we're going to do today is we are going to hook up these last 4 DBsub cables to the front of the console. These 4 DBsubs is going to give me the ability to now have insert points on the patch bay for all 32 long faders. So right now we only have inserts on the first bucket, channels 1 through 8, and then we have an insert point on channel 17 through 24. We're going to add 2 cables for 9 through 16, so you have to have send and return, and then for 25 to 32, send and return. And that will give me the ability to do that on the patch bay. So if we come over to the patch bay, I finally got it all labeled here. And I'm going to show you guys maybe at the end of this video, or maybe I'll do another video on the software. I have a cool little software program that I found that allows you to customize the labels for your patch bay. So we have 3 patch bays, as you guys know, 3 switchcrafts. And our second patch bay here, the one in the middle, patch bay 2, that is the patch bay that are all the insert points on all 32 channels. So if I come over here and you see these labels here, hopefully you can see that okay. So we have channel 1 send through channel 8 in the first bucket. Here's all the sends. The outputs or sends at the top. And then on the bottom, you'll see the labels for the returns. And so we have that on 4 buckets, 1, 2, squeeze over here, 3, and 4. So on the back of the patch bay, there are no cables, DBsubs hooked up to this one or to this one, channels 9 through 16. So we're going to do that today. And so then I'll show you at one point the labeling program. So all of our patch bays are now labeled. Hopefully the glare isn't too bad from the lighting. Okay, and I'll walk through this whole thing maybe in a special video. But this will give us the ability to easily plug stuff in and out, patch compressors in and out on any of the 32 channels. If you watched, I think last week or the week before's video, you saw Dave and I rearrange the whole racks and we moved the patch bays from the bottom up towards the top so we can easily use it. And that's what we're going to do. So that's going to be done. So I'm going to pull the console away from the wall. Going to get those 4 cables in on the console, which is no big deal. Route them along the cable management tray on the back of the console. And then it's got to come back here. And this will be the biggest pain in the butt for sure. It's going to come back here, and then it's going to have to squeeze into down there, which I'll show you later, with all those cables. And go watch the cable management video if you didn't see how we cable managed everything, to get the cables plugged back into the backs of the patch bays. So we got 4 cables to hook up. As I'm kind of walking through this and I get the console out, maybe I'll show you guys the front of the console again so you can see everything plugged in. But go watch the other setup videos because we've shown that in several videos now, how everything is plugged into the console, but maybe I'll show it again in this video. So I will get this thing pulled away from the wall, get myself prepped, and then I'll get back there and hopefully shoot some footage. Okay guys, now that I'm kind of crouched down behind here again, sorry for the poor lighting. Actually the phone's lighting up pretty good. So here is our second bucket where we're going to put our long fader return, send and return, right? So send goes out of the board, goes into the back of the patch bay, comes out of the patch bay, goes back in. So that is bucket 9 through 16. You can see short fader. We have sends and returns to the short faders, which we're not using. Let's see. Where is the one for bucket 1? It's buried in here. Somewhere, just so you can see it. Oh, here it is. So here is bucket 1, where the Aphex 204s are. Long fader return, and the send is underneath it. You can't see it. Okay, so that's that. So everything is just duplicated. Bucket 1 has all the same inputs and outputs as bucket 2. So we're going to do these 2 here, right here, and then all the way. I don't know if I can get the phone down here. You can see towards the end, buckets 25 through 32. We're going to do that with the other 4 cables. And then I'm going to try to kind of clean up a little bit of the mess here. All this is going to be recable tied. This is the big snake that goes all the way down. There's our camera, second camera that you guys see. And then hopefully I won't have to be back here again anytime soon. So let me get those cables plugged into those holes. And once I get everything routed and do the other bucket and bring them over to the patch bay before I plug them in and before I push the console back, I'll maybe show you, if I can, some of the wire management if I manage to get that clean. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Okay, the other thing I want to mention here, because a few of you have asked in the other videos, and I've mentioned this in other videos, but you've asked in the comment section about the labeling and the tape. So this is just fluorescent orange gaffer's tape, and it's bought on Amazon for 12 bucks a roll. You've seen me use this. This is really great because you can see it. I mean, it's dark back here. You see the lighting from the iPhone. But when you pull this out and it's kind of dark, you can see everything really well, and the black Sharpie shows up really well. So everything is labeled. All the cables are labeled on both sides in most cases. So if these get disconnected, you know exactly where they go back in. Okay, so that's what I'm using. Just regular gaffer's tape, fluorescent orange, and a black Sharpie. So let me get the rest. And the other thing too, a little tip for you, is a lot of times when you screw these in by hand, try to do this with one hand, I also like to take a screwdriver and just do a little quarter turn. You don't want to over wrench these things, but because these cables are heavy, it's good to make sure that they're snug. And that these are HOSA cables, so make sure, even though we're going to have strain relief, that we're not pulling on the cable and it doesn't have a loose connection. So I like to do that too. I like to go through and just make sure with a flathead, because most of these have little flathead slots on them, but you want to make sure you don't over tighten them. You just want to snug them, because when you turn these by hand, when you're getting your fingers in here between two connectors tight, you can't always get these tight enough. So I like to go with the flathead screwdriver and just a little snug. So anyhow, I will see you guys in a few minutes once I've done hooking all these wires up. Okay gang, so now the console is pushed back. I put the console back in place, and now what's left of those 4 cables have to go into that patch bay. Good luck. But all the console's put back now. I tie wrapped everything. And so now I just have these last 4 cables, as I said. Those are the cables that have to go snake into the patch bay, and they're long. They're 15 footers. Well, there's 2 15 footers and 2 10 footers. The 15 footers go from the second bucket, which is the furthest away from the board, and they're actually too long. I could have gotten away with 10, but I couldn't get them. No one has them in stock. You know, we're dealing with this whole supply chain issue and everything in this country, or really all over the world, and I can only get I can get 2 15 footers and 2 10 footers. So the 10 footers are on the bucket 25 to 32, which is the closest to the patch bay. But even those are too long, but that's okay. I mean, they'll just kind of hang down back here. But, you know, again, down the road, when and if the console moves to a new space, it may be nice to have the extra, you know, the longer cables, because they're expensive. I'd rather have them a little too long than too short. So anyway, now my job's going to be crawling down on the floor and somehow getting them into the patch bay. And then I'll try to shoot some video for you once it's all completely done. So that's my next task here in this little project. Okay guys, so we're done. It took me about a half an hour to get these 4 cables in. So now you can see, hopefully, well, you might be able to see, I don't know how well it's going to focus, but it was these 2 cables right here that had to go in, right there, 25 to 32 send and return. That wasn't so bad. The one that was a real pain, to see. It's hard to tell. It's in here actually. You won't be able to see. Well, maybe. It's these 2 cables right here. Don't where my finger's touching. These 2, those 2 top cables. Let me see if I get my hand in there. It's hard to reach, but it was these 2 right. Well, can't see it. But anyway, getting my fingers and my hands all the way in there, there it is, right there, 9 through 16. So right over there, those 2 cables there were the biggest pain to get in and to get tight. But now they're all in. So we're all set now. Everything is in, everything is kind of cable managed the best I can. And I coiled them up, kind of stuck them in my, these wire managers the best we could. So now we have everything again. The floor doesn't look too bad. This is kind of the end result. I put a couple of these little clip lights here so you can get some lighting down here when you're working, 2 of them, one here and one here. It just turn on and off with a little switch here. So that helps with the lighting. And that's it. So that's kind of the finished product. Again, hopefully we do not have to pull this thing out again until the console actually moves locations. So that's it. So that is all the wire management. And once again, I can show you probably quickly, I'll do a little quick screen capture, how I made these labels. And I'm sorry about the glare. How I made the labels for the Switchcraft is a nice little program. It's about 25 bucks, which was really helpful. You just print them out on regular copy paper, use a pair of scissors, cut them out, and they sit in this little piece of plastic, and then you can label your sends and returns, and it makes using the patch bay a lot easier. So let me go over to the screen capture, and let me capture that and just show you the program. Okay guys, here is that program I was telling you about for the patch bay. It's a program called PatchCAD, P-A-T-C-H-C-A-D. It's about $35 US or $25. And basically what it allows you to do is it has a bunch of templates of every freaking patch bay that's out there, at least, you know, as of the recording of this video. And it has a template. So you pick your patch bay and then you can label it. Let me show you. So I don't have to do it from the beginning. And then you can save it as a template. So let me open up the 9625. So here's mine, okay? And so here it is. And you can label it. So here's channels 1 through 1 through 48 points, right? Top row, bottom row. And you can go in and you can label it. You can change the colors. So let's say, for example, I have a bunch of empty spaces on this patch bay, but you can see where you actually make the editing up top, and then you'll see the preview on the bottom here and what it's going to look like, okay? And so let's say on channel 17, I wanted to type something here. You just click in the box and you can put you can put a SSL input or whatever it is, hit the tab key, and then over here you can edit. You can make the font larger, you can make it smaller, you can bold it or italicize it, you can change the color of the fonts if you want, you can change the backgrounds of that as well. And then when you type in here, this is a larger view of it, you'll see it down here in the preview. So like here at channel 17, where I typed in that SSL in, it's a little large, it's hard to read. So you're gonna wanna shrink the font size a little. So maybe down to 6 points. And then you'll see the preview at the bottom here, okay? And then you can put borders around, like, it has borders so you can make sure you see all the little boxes. You can take those away. It's just like a regular Microsoft Word or anything like that is all it really is. And then when you go ahead and you label out your patch bay like I did here, and I see the preview on the bottom, let me get rid of this that I just did here because I don't need that. You can then save it, which is what I did. So you can save it, you can do save as, and you can save it to wherever you want on your computer, and then you always have the file, so you can open it back up if you have some new gear that comes in and things change or whatever. You can do that. And then when you want to print it, you just come up to File, Print, and then this will show you how it's going to print. Now, if you just have regular legal size paper in there, or regular photocopy paper, 8.5 by 11, it's going to print on 2 pages. If you have the long legal size, it'll print on 1 page. And then you just print it out, and then you just take a pair of scissors, and I just trim above the top and bottom here and just cut them out and then stick them into the little plastic inserts and clip them onto the patch bay. So you have all kinds of things you can do up here as well. You can get rid of the sockets or show the sockets. You can show the normaling or half normaling. You can show the cutting guides. There's all kinds of things you can do. It's a really cool program. It's a real easy way, and close it here. It's a real simple way to label your patch bay. And if you're making changes to your patch bay and you want to change your labels, this is a quick little way to do it. And you can print this out. And again, like I said, I think it was 25 or 35 US dollars worth every penny. You can come over here and see all the different templates that they have. They have 2014 new templates available, and it downloads all of them. So just about every patch bay that's on the market, quarter inches, XLRs, everything is right here. And you can go ahead and you can customize your own patch bay labels. So that's it. So that's the program that I'm using. It made it really easy to do, and it makes it nice that you can change the colors. So when you're looking at the patch bay, it stands out a little bit more. You know, because on the patch bay, the labels look small, right? The labeling area is small, and it's always a pain to make them so they're legible and you can see them easily when you're patching stuff in and out. And again, this is a great way if you ever change your setup, you just open up your file, change it, reprint it out, and change out the label. So again, that is PatchCAD is the name of the program. You can Google it. It's easy to find. It's both for Mac and PC. That's it. So I hope this was helpful. Again, like, share, and subscribe here in Mixing Music Analog if you like this video. Make sure that you come on back and check out all the other videos we have in the catalog, and make sure you stay tuned for all our new content in the future. So thanks so much, and I'll see you guys soon.